at the moment, France in the spotlight over rape and sexual assault cases. The most high-profile concerns the singer Patrick Bruel, currently free on licence and amid accusations from around 30 women. A pattern of behaviour, drugging and rape, as well as repetitive sexual abuse and harassment is claimed. Bruel denies any wrongdoing. The Gisèle Pelicot case, of course, shocked France and the world after it was revealed that she'd been abused sexually by her own husband and strangers that he'd recruited online. The format there, drugging her before subjecting her to the ordeal. 132 school assistants have been suspended, 52 accused of sexual abuse or exploitation of children in their charge. This revealed by the Paris mayor's office in the wake of alleged cases in primary schools and preschool nurseries. And then there's the tragic abduction and murder of an 11-year-old child, Liana. It rocked France and the legal justice system. It emerged that the prime suspect in this case is the father of one of her school friends who'd been suspected of previous child abuse cases, and he wasn't even questioned when the little girl went missing, even though she'd been seen, apparently, allegedly, in his car. Behind all of this, and these are some shocking examples, and there are obviously others, behind all of this is a sense that the victims aren't taken seriously by the authorities. Laurent Nunez, the Interior Minister, is calling for full reform. President Emmanuel Macron says the situation is unacceptable. Try telling that to the victims. They know all about this already. Here to get a deeper analysis of what France is facing and how the victims can be helped in some way and how justice perhaps can be reached is our guest in the studio. Solène Podevin-Favre, thank you for being with us. President of Face à l'Inceste, which translates as Against Incest, and former director of CIVIS, which is the Commission indépendante sur l'inceste et les violences sexuelles contre les enfants. In a nutshell, that's the Independent Commission on Incest and Sex Crimes Against Children here in France. Thank you so much for being with us, Solène. I'll give you space to speak now because I've been speaking for a long time. Is there an all-encompassing failure in the French legal justice system, as people are saying? People are talking about going right down to the ground and starting all over again. Is that the case in your experience? Is that what you're seeing?
So thank you for inviting me, Mark Owen. It's a pleasure being here. Yeah, what we can see from this experience this week is that the society's difficulty to listen, in listening victims, because victims speak out, but the society does not really listen to them. And what we always call for freeing the speech, but what we should really free is the listening. And what we have seen here, when the society really is able to listen to the victims, then we see that it is very moved, and then we have 150,000 people in the street, like on Monday. So what we see here in this affair is that now the things start changing, and we start listening victims, and we start alerting. And for us, like Face à l'Inceste, we exist since 25 years now, and this is something that we keep alerting the government about the systemic failures and everything. But now society starts to see the systemic failures, and the entire system is broken. And this is what we call for, really a reorganization of the justice and more protection for children, of course.
The issue, I think, that you've identified there is the fact that people aren't believed. And typically it's a woman who goes to complain, and the men, because it usually is men, in authority say, well, hang on a minute, did this happen, did that happen? We don't know whether that's the case. And that attitude over the years has made many women and many girls not complain about what has happened. And that is something that really France and every country needs to get hold of, isn't it, to stop that. This kind of, I think it's an ingrained sexism from very, very small that says your voice doesn't matter.
Yes, you are completely right, Marco. And it's really this culture that we need to change. The culture of rape, the culture of incest, to become a culture of vigilance, of protection, and that we start by thinking that, yes, what victim says is right. They really experience what they are telling to the police, and yes, we are here to protect them. So I think it's really this paradigm change, shift that we need in our society in France. And this is what we start seeing since Monday or since last week.
Is there an issue about online pornography? I'm thinking about the sort of things that children, young boys might be finding online today. Could be incredibly violent scenes, certainly scenes of hatred against women and violence against women. And if you're young and you see that and you grow up thinking that's normal, that can only end in one very bad place, can't it? Should this kind of thing be more controlled by governments?
Yeah, and I think this is what the government is going to really decide, that children under the age of 15 or 16 cannot go on social media, and we should have more control of what the children can see on the social media and on internet. You're right. We know some statistic, like 90% of children under 11 have seen pornography, not by will, but just by coincidence.
Just by coincidence, by happening across it online.
Yeah. That's why we really need to change the society and how we protect children. And from the day we prevent cases and how we educate adults acting close to children, whether it's at school or the doctor or anyone acting close to children, and all the prevention, educating children about what they can go through on social media and internet, and it's the entire chain that we need to change.
I've got 4 children. I educated my 3 boys to be respectful and kind to the opposite sex. And I educated my daughter to be tough and to not take any problems, any messing, any nonsense from any man. And so far, so good. They appear to be holding their lives together and being really successful adults, so carrying that good message forward. But I'm wondering whether in France there's been a problem with, say, for instance, the lack of a clear age of consent for many, many years, which perhaps led to questions from men in authority about whether or not a girl had been abused sexually or not. Has that been a problem, do you think?
Yeah, I think we have seen like 95% of assault are coming from men. We have all in this French society, we have, and always with small girls, or most of the times victims are girls and women. So it's really this continuous system with the domination of male against gender, so against women, but also against children. So it's really something that also needs to change. And that's why feminists and child rights activists are going together. And that's why we organized this rally on Monday, last Monday, and coming Monday, and all Monday until we have this bill that we are looking at.
So this is going to be a Monday event where people get together at a... You'll tell me the location. They raise their voices, they show their presence to have the law changed, to have things made better and fairer for girls and women, and for everybody who could be a victim of sexual abuse of any kind.
Exactly. It will be at 7 p.m. in front of the Minister of Justice and Place Vendôme in Paris, but also in province. 150 towns organized this rally last Monday, and it will be the same for next Monday. So until we have this comprehensive bill being examined by the Parliament, and because this comprehensive bill is very comprehensive, so we have the prevention, we have the care, we have the justice, and we try to have a cost of this bill, and we see that it's not a matter of money, it's a matter of political will, a political decision that needs to be done. So we will go and we will organize this rally every Monday until we have this comprehensive bill being examined by the Parliament.
And Solène, it's a question of trying to change attitudes, change how people see things, change how men in power, men who have money and men who have influence see things. That is extremely important. Solène, we're out of time, but thank you so much for being here with us and sharing what you're doing. And it's every Monday, of course, at Place Vendôme in Paris, various places across the country where Solène's group is organising these demonstrations to push for change. Solène Podevin-Favre, thank you very much for being with us here in France. We so appreciate your time.